Today in America, 1 in 5 people has a family member that was killed by gun violence. 1 in 5.
Gun violence continues to be a critical issue, affecting communities, families, and schools across Wisconsin. In this documentary, we'll hear from advocates, firearm owners, local leaders, all united by a common question: what can be done to reduce gun violence? This is your message to the president. Across Wisconsin, gun violence takes a heavy toll, particularly in urban centers like Milwaukee. But how do we define the problem, and where should we focus our efforts? By looking at this issue from different perspectives, we begin to understand the scope of the crisis and ask, how can the federal government help us address this issue? Advocacy groups like Wisconsin Anti-Violence Effort, or WAVE, are calling for stronger regulations to combat the rising tide of gun violence. But do stricter laws hold the key to a safer future? Their message to the president is clear: common sense gun legislation is necessary to protect lives.
WAVE is the largest anti-gun violence organization in the state of Wisconsin. The governor today just signed his executive order to create an Office of Violence Prevention. And again, it's proven that they work, that they do reduce crime and reduce gun crime. And the fact that our young people are dying and we're failing our kids, that's unacceptable. Regardless on party lines, regardless on personal beliefs or the Second Amendment, we have to preserve the life of our young people and work for the people.
Gun rights organizations like Wisconsin Firearm Owners argue that stricter gun laws infringe on Second Amendment rights. Their message to the president is a call for preserving individual freedoms while addressing safety concerns.
My name is Rob Kovac. I am the president of Wisconsin Firearm Owners. If you start being biased one way or the other, you don't have an opportunity to build those relationships from both sides. And to your question, how do we do better? I don't think that legislation is a winning avenue for making things better, because there are cultural and societal issues at play.
Local leaders like Glendale's aldermen are on the front lines working to implement solutions on the ground. Their message to the president emphasizes the importance of community-level action and support from higher levels of government.
Well, I would start out by saying everything's local. Your neighbor is local. Your family is local. And these are local issues when something happens. It impacts all of us. It's not another name, just like on television. It's not another statistic. It's real for everybody. It's real for people. And we should not just let it go and say the obligatory thoughts and prayers, because it does not mean anything to the people who are impacted. But when you put a firearm into the mix, it gets personal.
School resource officers work to keep our children safe, but with rising concerns about gun violence, their role is more critical than ever. What do they need to ensure the safety of our schools? Their message to the president is clear: more resources and support for proactive measures in schools.
Hi, I'm Officer Myers. I'm a police officer and a school resource officer. My job is to maintain a safe school and campus, which leads to a positive school environment. I would just like to remind everyone that school safety is a priority, and I believe it's the responsibility of everybody involved in the community, the staff, the students, the school resource officer. We all have a responsibility to contribute to that.
While gun violence may be on the decline in Milwaukee, city leaders are still asking for help. Their message to the president is clear: gun law in this country has to change.
Well, the Second Amendment, I think, is a difficult one folks talk about, whether they're talking about individuals being able to have access to these firearms to protect themselves, or to be able to band together and rise up in a militia. So I think that if you look at the law of the United States, the Constitution of the United States, things have changed over time. I mean, the fact that we're sitting in this office, in the mayor's office, talking to an African-American man who's the mayor. There was a time, if we listened to the Constitution, if it hadn't changed, where this interaction would not have been possible. right? So things change, countries grow, and I think our laws should change with. Otherwise, we'll get left behind. It's time for us to do something about gun law in this country, allowing for people to, again, enjoy their Second Amendment rights, but stopping individuals who should not have their hands on guns in the first place. We're supposed to be the envy of the world, the shining city on the hill, but we've fallen far behind as it relates to addressing this issue, right? And I just hope, for the sake of myself as a young father, for young people who are coming up in Wisconsin and the United States, that we have the courage to address the issue.
We are the generation that will end gun violence. I implore you to pass legislation that will make us all safer.
We may not agree on how to get there, but I think we're going to get there, and we're going to get there together.
Each message points towards a need for action. This is your message to the president.